Dear Harstem, the current state of ZVP frustrates me greatly. I tried really hard in that game. I felt like my unit composition of Queen Corruptor Viper with 1 to 2 Ultras and a couple of Lings was the correct match for the Skytoss. However, it was really hard to shut down his expansions due to cannons and batteries. Despite all my attempts, I was out-expanded and out-traded. Please tell me how this is not imbalanced. Cheers, Railgun. Railgun is a Zerg Grandmaster player from Europe. He's playing against Hulk, who is, I believe, a Russian toss. I'm not actually sure what country Railgun is from. Opening up with a 12 pool, safe and solid macro play. Hulk, I know Hulk, also known as Genie S, and I play against him every now and then. He's a cannon rusher and a Skytoss camper, basically. He is everything that everyone hates on ladder. So seeing a replay of these two guys makes me extremely happy. It seems like Railgun has some complaints about Skytoss. Now, I do agree that Skytoss can be very frustrating to deal with, especially Void Ray Carrier Tempest with a bunch of with a mothership and a bunch of Templar underneath. This is right now the composition that TOS has, which actually is very good for TOS. And as a Zerg, it can be very difficult to deal with. I agree with that. I'm not sure if that's what Hulk plays. It's possible that Hulk just plays pure Skytoss like Void Ray Carrier. That type of stuff usually just gets kind of easily countered by Infestors. Some combination of Infestors and Vipers. As long as there's no High Templar, it's really easy. But even with High Templar, if there's no Tempest, Zerg can almost always find good engagements. Now, opens up with a 12 pool, gets the hatch down at a decent time. I think Hulk opened with Nexus first or something like that, or tried to cannon rush. He seems to have a very weird opener here. He should cancel this forge. And then he's probably just fine. Okay, doesn't cancel the forge, so loses a bunch of minerals there for nothing. Cannon is up though, and this gate... Oh, actually the gate can be attacked at a certain location. Yeah, it's just testing right now. I think there's another spot over here, up top. I think 2 Lings can definitely attack this. Oh, Cybercore goes down. Double hatch behind this. I feel like if you see the Cybercore as this late, you can actually delay your second gas and you can play double gas later on. So you can still get speed later on, but it's not necessary to get it quickly because this Cybercore is so late. By the time 2 adepts are out, you're gonna have like 5 queens already. So I'm actually not a massive fan of this fast gas. Railgun also immediately sees a very fast third gas, which... This is 4 gas at once. I've never seen this in my life before. This is not a build. But Railgun did spot that, so he should know that most likely it's just going to be either Mass Phoenix or Mass Oracle, Mass Void Ray. It's going to be something air that requires a lot of gas. So you just know it's Stargate already. I actually feel like at this point he shouldn't be mining gas at all. He has 2 queens so far. He's not injecting with either of them. There we go. Took his time. Moving into a supply block soon. But for now, yeah, okay, he has a lot of larva available. He's actually just supply blocked. Yeah. Okay. Finishes up. That's nice. So a tiny supply block. I mean, these are small mistakes, but they do add up over time. But on the other hand, with Hulk, I don't know what he's doing at all. He's like building random pylons. Making sure he doesn't die to Nidus. His eco is still slightly better than Railgun for some reason. I have no clue how that actually happened. It felt like this... I guess Railgun either wasn't injecting or macroing, or just was supply block for a long time. Like he's supposed to be in a better spot worker-wise than 36 to 32. He's now catching up, of course, as the queens start popping. More and more larva out. Now we have the first Stargate. +1 starts before the Stargate finishes. I love that. And this setup, if I'm Railgun here, I mean, I see a Zealot, a Sentry, and a Void Ray. What you do here is you get like 7-8 Lings like this, and then you just get a bunch of queens, like 5 to 6 queens. You get a lot of drones, just constantly be pumping out drones, hitting all your injects, spreading a lot of creep. You never get a Roach Warren against this, never in a million years. There's absolutely no use. You see this guy's opening up with Void Ray. His stack is super delayed. You're not even sure if this is a warp gate. I mean, if it is warp gate, it's gonna be the slowest warp gate in the world. You can just hold this with whatever layer tech you're planning to get. In my opinion, that should be Hydras. Unless you 100% know your opponent is playing Airtoss. But then the Rotor never makes sense. Yeah, I think you just go to layer, get +1, and then get Hydras. And you can just... What you can do against most of these builds is you just get like 7, 8 queens. Then you get Hydras with +1, and you get Banelings. And you just kill your opponent. It's actually impossible to hold without Storm. You hit at like 740, 750. With like 160 supply. And you always beat these builds. Every single time. Especially if they rush straight to carrier. It's awful. Because their DPS is so little, you can just kill the interceptors. You have enough Hydras to do that. If you have Hydras with +1. And you have a bunch of queens for tanking and transfuses. There should be no problem. So, Railgun built too many links. This type of stuff... I mean, it can work. It's just gimmicky, right? If there's an Oracle here or there's 2 more Zealots... You just wasted 6 drones, basically. It is going to work out this time, so he actually gets a cancel on the base. Hulk is like, okay, I'm just going to expand over here. We have a fort base on the way for Railgun. All of this so far is pretty good. If he was planning on getting Hydra then, he should have played range upgrades, honestly. These days, Hydra Bane, unless it's for a straight timing, isn't actually that popular anymore, because Banelings lost a lot of their power. Like the macro variant of Hydra Bane. Now we have Spire. Is this Loco? Is he gonna play Hydra Corruptor? 22 more links. 22 more links makes absolutely 0 sense as well. Should have been 10 more drones. Because there's no ground units. Actually 0 ground units. He's already seen the carriers now. So all he needs to do is not die against the carriers. And he actually... Like, he should be at 80 workers at this point already. On 8 gas. But instead he's building links. And rallies them into a cannon and a void ray. Once again, this can work. But really, it shouldn't. I actually think it's gonna work, though. Oh my god, he gets another cancel. I hate it when this happens. He's gonna lose a base in return? No way, right? And it's just 2 carriers. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way. Right? Just moves across the map with the 3 Hydras. He's gonna trade a base for a base, which actually is a good thing. He's floating 2k minerals as well as 900 gas. I mean, I understand that he's floating 1000 gas because he wants to be getting Corruptors, I guess. Or Mutalisk maybe? I have no clue. His playstyle makes no sense. But the 1k minerals is pretty painful. He's not re-expanding to the left side or re-expanding here. Now finally my man Hulk is re-expanding. This is doing way too much damage. If this carrier dies, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, doesn't die. He lost all of his queens now, so he literally only has 68 workers. And 13 Corruptors on the way. This is awful. 3 more queens. It's like, maybe a Spore. Okay, I bet he's real glad about the +1 melee that he has right now. It's gonna be real useful this game. 2 carriers, 3 fighters. Can he fight this? It's what, 9 Corruptors? I guess he can, no? Yeah, he's gonna get 1, 2 Corruptors for free. There's +1 as well on this. That actually makes them a lot scarier. 3 Void Rays on the way, Fleet Beacon. I think Hawk is in a very, very good position right now. Even though he lost his 3rd base 3-4 times, Railgun has absolutely no eco. He has no units. He has no upgrades. And he doesn't even have any queens. I mean, he has 3 right now. He's finally rebuilding this fort base at 8 minutes in. I guess he's going to be able to do a little bit of damage. Fort base goes down for Hulk as well. This is good. So you get into the main base and then you can pick off like the guys that come to rescue it. So he gets 2 Void Rays for a single Corruptor, which is always a nice thing. I think now he stays a little bit too long. And this trade ends up going pretty poor. +2 wasn't quite done yet, but it was close. I don't know. I feel like at this point he shouldn't be doing this anymore. What you want to do is you want to pick it off while they're... So you do a run by to the 3rd base or something. And as they're flying, you pick off a unit from the side. Because Void Rays are faster than carriers, you know. You can pick off a carrier from behind, something like that. No scouting out of Railgun that there's a potential fort base. There should be a ling here, there should be a ling here, there should be a ling here. Making sure that no extra expansions can be built. He's still only on 72 workers. So, and he's mining from a base that hasn't finished yet with his extra workers. He has like 10 more workers than his opponent, and he uses all of them to long distance mine. So in reality, eco is completely even. Upgrades are way ahead here for Hulk. He has +2 against no upgrades on air. Like, the ground upgrades are completely irrelevant. These links are not going to be able to trade with cannons, most likely. If this base actually gets cannons, he said, I had a difficult time denying bases. Well, yeah, it's because you didn't try. If you start denying a base, if there's 10 cannons, yeah, it's a lot more difficult. But this Nexus build, which is like 70 seconds, then he built pylons, and just now he's adding his cannons. Like, he's had basically 2 full minutes to try and deny this base, and he isn't even aware it's up yet. Just keeps focusing on whatever he's already doing. He finally gets his gases, but Hulk already has gas as well. So actually, income is completely even still. Worker count is equal. Zerg at this point should have his hive done, should be at double spire, 95 workers, 10 gas. But Railgun just keeps building Ling Corruptor and then just runs around the map trying to do damage. And every time he does damage, he'll kill like 5 workers. And then he loses 3-4 Corruptors and 20 Links. So it's like, he's doing damage, but he doesn't have more eco than his opponent. And he's losing more money-wise as well. So actually, all of these trades, probably, yeah, are not in favor of Railgun at all. Right now, Hulk is actually ahead in trades, and I think the eco has been pretty similar. The only thing is that Hulk is investing so much in static defense that even though he lost more, even though Railgun lost more army value-wise, he's actually still in a playable position. Finally, he's going up to 86, 91 worker. Second Spire, this is 3-4 minutes too late. 2-3 minutes too late, I think. When he started his 4th base, his 5th base basically should be saturated already with 10 gas. But because he kept building random links, it didn't happen. Also losing the Queen Sauce, of course, a big Pepak move. Here we go, 98 workers, this is good. Then you just get Vipers. At this point, once again, this base is gonna go up without really being contested at all. At this point, another thing you can do, by the way, is if you have very good eco, you can start doing Baneling run-bys. Like, just busting like 7-8 Banelings in here, then doing a Ling run-by, but only after you have good eco. So what Railgun did here is he started harassing a lot and then got good eco, but you can just do it the other way around. So first get good eco and then start harassing. It's exactly the same, probably would do more damage with the second one, and you actually have an advantage in that case. So this is a bad fight most likely for Hulk. As there's a lot of queens, there's a bunch of corruptors here. As long as you just not fight into the prismatic alignment here, you're gonna be having a really good time as Railgun. He did fight a little bit in the prismatic alignment, so I still think this fight was pretty poor actually for Railgun. On top of that, his upgrades still suck hard as well. But queens are extremely powerful against Void Rays. No transfuses being used. Yeah, there's one transfuse, good. Yeah, this was a good fight. Like I said, if you just fight after prismatic alignment is gone, you're usually gonna have a very good time. Corruptors actually trade very well against Void Ray Carrier if there's no prismatic alignment. And if there's a couple of queens around. So, he loses a base. And a bunch of workers. Another base for Hulk is up. And at this point, Railgun should be realizing that it's time to add some casters as well, you know? Either Infestor or Viper. What I like to see initially is Viper, so you can fly around with your Corruptor Viper, you pull a unit to you, you kill it. And then you go into Infestors if you ever want to have a big fight. It seems like Railgun doesn't quite agree with it, as he just keeps building Corruptors. He's like, huh. I wonder what the counter is to Mass Void Ray. Maybe a unit that is armored and takes more damage from prismatic alignment? Yeah, that sounds alright. Here come. 23 Corruptors. Ooh. This is a fight I actually don't know who will win. Okay, well, if the Void Rays pop, then Hulk is going to win. You see, Hulk completely outmining his opponent at this point, just by building cannons at base. All these bases, by the way. Quick pause. You look at these bases and you think, hey, this is pretty secure. But in reality, this is just 3 cannons. So if you send a decent amount of links here, or if you just, like I said, send a couple of banelings, he already has +2 at this point, you're just going to blast this base. There's no walls, it's not 12 cannons. Like here, also only 3 cannons. These bases are really, really easy to harass, and they're super out of the way for Hulk to defend. Like I said, sometimes it feels, as a Zerg player, that there's not a lot you can do in these cases. It's like, there's cannons everywhere. But then you look at it, it's like, well, it's 3 cannons. Like, you send in 8 banelings here, they're going to kill every single probe. Then you send like 10 links, and they clean up the cannons behind it as well. Like, this is absolutely not a powerful defense at all. Absolutely not. 2-2 upgrades, +3 is done. More Stargates on the way for Hulk. Railgun is just down 30 supply. Yeah, he's just in a bad spot, honestly. He's really just been in a bad spot ever since the start, when he decided that he didn't need a fort base to fight against the Toss that is camping on 3. I feel like he's been in a poor position. He's also just been... sending his Corruptors around the map again and again without any type of finesse, you know? This is the caveman way of playing. Wait, what? Does he have links and Corruptors in the same group? I think he's just F2ing, honestly. Okay, no, he has a separate group. I think he just F2s a lot, because they were moving together. Now, what he should have been doing, like I said, is try to split up your opponent's attention. Like, these bases are like backdoor attacks. Imagine you have a scenario where your opponent has a fort, okay? And the fort is surrounded by land, and it's not on a hill. And this fort is castle. It has 2 entrance doors. There's one in the front. That's where there's 5 machine guns in front of that front door. And the moment you walk in front of that front door, the machine guns start shooting. And then you have a door in the back. And there's a guy with a revolver. He has 6 bullets in the revolver. It's one of the old school ones, like in the Wild West, you know? He's never used a gun before either. My man Railgun keeps trying to burst into the front door again and again, into the bases where there's 8, 9 cannons, and with the machine guns, the Void Rays, the carriers. While this back door of the castle, of the fort, is completely undefended, except for the one guy with the revolver that never shot before. And he just keeps going back again and again. Oh, stupid machine gun, so broken. Oh yeah, this castle is impenetrable. That's a word. Like, this makes absolutely no sense to me. And the beautiful thing is, if you go through the back door of the castle, the machine guns will need to move. But this analogy is going a bit too far. These guys will need to move. And then you can pick them off with your Corruptor Viper from the side. You have like a changeling over here, a changeling over here. You see him move. You see the carriers are behind. You can pick maybe a Void Ray from the front or a carrier from the back, whatever you want. Maybe you can pick off the mothership, as this unit is so big. Like, if you accidentally click somewhere on the screen, you will abduct the mothership with your Viper. Now, there's not a single spore either, but that's just because his eco sucks and has been sucking for a very long time. Still has the links in his army, by the way. I love it. He builds 69 links. There's not a single ground unit here. He's like, huh. 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 Oh. If StarCraft had MVP awards, these links definitely wouldn't get it. Yet through the process of elimination, you can quickly realize that it's not going to be the links that win. Like, this army just had 35 supply in links. It had 70 links, right? That's 35 supply. Yeah. That did absolutely nothing in the fight. His total army supply was 90. 1/3 of his army was useless. It just did nothing. It wasn't there. Like, and the rest of his army gets hard countered by this. There's like Void Rays and carriers and a mothership. Like Void Rays hard counter Corruptors. I'm pretty sure if we open the Corruptor tab, look at this. Weak against the Void Ray. The Void Ray is strong against the Corruptor. You see that? All Railgun needed to do was open up the Blizzard Help tab. This is... What does it say about the Zergling? At the Zergling, does it say strong against Void Ray? Because if it does, I will apologize. No, strong against Marauder, Hydra and Stalker. It can't shoot up. The Zergling doesn't have an anti-air attack. Do you understand that, Railgun? This is important for me, that you understand this. Now, what we could have built, look, is the Infestor. Strong against the Void Ray. Also strong against the Carrier. Doesn't say it here, but it is also strong against the Carrier. Because it has this ability called Neural Parasite, in which for a 2 supply unit, the Infestor, you can take the Protoss, big supply, 6 supply unit, the Carrier, for free. And then after you use it, you can still throw a Fungal as well. It will fight on your side. You get that? Fungal, great against units that clump. And then look at this. What does it say at the Viper? It doesn't say it's strong against the Void Ray. It's also strong against the Void Ray. Parasitic Bomb. But he still doesn't have a single Viper. How is that even possible? He already started with Ultra? He felt like his Lynx last fight didn't quite do a good enough job of clearing all the ground. So instead what he decided to do was to make an Ultra to clear the many ground unit that Hulk has. The sentry in the wall. This is incomprehensible. He's just massing Corruptors on a worse economy, wondering he's getting hard countered by a unit that hard counters the Corruptor. You know there's actually a trick with Viper Corruptor. Let me tell you this trick. This works great against higher carrier counts especially, and I mean this is just a higher carrier count. What you do is, first of all you send in the Ultra first. Look at this guy. Look at the damage he's doing, the mental support he's providing. Dumpy dumpy dum. Bumpy dum. Wait, is he actually winning this fight? I have no clue what Hulk is doing either, to be honest. I think he's gonna recall this. No, okay. So there is a trick, listen to this. What you can do as a Zerg player, if you're playing against someone that actually builds no Templar, this becomes even better. But even if they do have Templar, it's good. If they don't have Tempest, what you can do is you can Parasitic Bomb an opponent's carrier, then you fly into the carrier with all your Corruptors. And then, because of the splash of the Parasitic Bomb, all the Interceptors that are attacking the Corruptors that are within the carrier, and thus the Parasitic Bomb, will just die. And because Interceptors don't have too much HP, the Interceptors actually die very, very fast. Right now, Railgun is like, dang it! Ah, if only I could deny these bases somehow, but Railgun, or Hulk is just too fast. I mean, he built the Nexus and then 50 seconds later he built the cannons. I want to also get your guys' attention that really Railgun has been having full map control the entirety of the game. Like he had decent, actually pretty good creep spread. He knew exactly what was going on. He just never wanted to scout for bases. He only scouts bases after there's 17 cannons. He's like the crappy spider senses, you know? He's like the type of guy whose gut starts tingling once he's already in jail. Or like caught by the bad guy. If there ever was a Spider-Man movie made about Railgun, you're like, ooh, my spidey senses start tingling. And he starts looking around, he just gets clubbed on the head. Like the movie ends. Spider-Man died. It's like, oh, this was crap. I run angry. Box office, 200,000. Budget of the movie, like 5 million. But it should be a crap movie. Yeah, absolute spider senses of a donkey. They don't have spider senses. Oh, 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 here comes... Yes! Oh, I was almost afraid he didn't have an Ultra with his army. I wonder if he thinks that ultras might have an aura around them, you know, plus 10 attack damage or something like that. In Warcraft 3 you have the Kodo and there's war drums. You can get more damage. Let's just add some links as well. It's like, you know what I'm really missing in my composition right now? It's like, what do you think? Infestors? Nah. Maybe more Vipers or extra Corruptors? Nah. Maybe some Banelings for a run by? Yeah. Maybe an Ultra and 30 links. That sounds alright. Okay, here we go again. I like how he... I want to actually show this move because I thought this was great. So, he just saw that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That there's 10 cannons over here. Okay? And he's right now in this location. Okay, let's just follow this army. It's just like, I can't really do much on the left side. What was there on the right side again? Take dumpy. Actually, let's go into his vision. It's like, okay, let's go. I think we can have it. Okay, he scouts. 10 cannons. Oh! Still 15 cannons now. He added 5. Well, that's still too much. 10 was too much. 15 is too much. Maybe I should check again in half an hour. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to break this with pure Ling Ultra. Like, you need something that does splash. Banelings, for example. I love that the Corruptors always fly with his army as well. Of course, they want to profit from that the War Drums aura that the Ultralisk has. Did he actually... I thought he unbinded his Vipers for a second, but he didn't. Okay, now this final fight, for once we're not going to follow the Ultra. Because the Ultra is actually doing damage. I can't believe it. Let's see what he's going to do with this army. So, throws a Parasitic Bomb. 1. Loses 3 Vipers. Casts a single Parasitic Bomb. I don't even know how that's possible. I really don't. I find it impressive. I mean, this is the type of game, you know? I always tell people, I think Skytoss is quite good. I do think it's good. I think it's difficult to deal with, don't get me wrong. Especially at the lower levels. Like anything below like 6k, you know? Like the top guys, they're pretty good at dealing with it. But even for them, it's really difficult. And Skytoss can feel really easy to play. But this Skytoss is not good. There was no Templar, there was no Tempest. Like, the problem here was just that Railgun, he tried to basically link Corruptor all in the mid-game, then got behind economically, and then for the rest of the game tries to counter Void Rays with Corruptors and Ultras. I kind of want to make like a chart for him, where it's like, does it shoot up? And then, do I make it versus Airtoss? And then the answer is no. If it doesn't shoot up, you don't build it versus Airtoss, unless you're killing probes with it. I'm honestly confused why he sent this replay. I mean, he's a Grandmaster player. He should understand at least the interactions between units that can shoot up and can't shoot up, between spellcasters and carriers, and it's like not having a single infestor here makes 0 sense to me. Not having a single spore on the map the entire time, not rushing 95 drones in the early game, and actually being behind in eco against a guy with 0 ground units. Why do you keep walking into machine guns, Railgun? Why? I don't understand. I don't think you understand this game either. So, I have 2 things for you. First of all, read on the unit counters a little bit. There's a very helpful help tab, F12 in-game. You can see what unit counters what. It's not always accurate, but it's going to do a better job than what you showed us this game. And second of all, you suck. Pathetic performance. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you did enjoy this episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? And I hope to see you all next time for a new one. Bye bye.